Unit 2 for response question 3 is a no calculator question, and it uses a lot of the things that we did in the other two for response questions with one extra thing thrown in there. So you guys are getting some good review over topics that are typically tested. Again, I'm not super sure how the test is going to go this year, but I'm preparing you as best as I know how. So on this one, we have the graph of f and the graph of f prime. So it's kind of a cool graph at the end because we have these line segments. We have the horizontal line segments on the derivative. So we don't have to worry about finding the slopes here because we have the graph of the slopes. So that is a little different. For A, we're asked to find the average rate of change of f over this interval from -1 to 4. So let's just start with that. That is something that we already did in the first response question on this unit. So that's just using the slope formula. So we would do f of 4 minus f of 1 over 4 minus 1. Right? We can find f of 4 and f of 1 using the graph. So f of 4 is 1 and f of 1 is 2. Hold on. Oh, it's f of -1. My bad. F of -1 is -2. Alright, so then on the denominator, 4 minus -1 is 5. And then 3 minus -2 is 1 minus -2 is 3. Okay, so that's going to get you 1 point. Doing that average rate of change formula is not a difficult topic. The second part is definitely more challenging. It's asking for how many values in that same interval does the instantaneous rate of change of f equal the average rate of change of f in that interval. So the instantaneous rate of change is another way of saying the derivative, f prime. And so what we would do is we would go over to this derivative graph. And we're going to figure out how many places between -1 and 4 is this graph equal to 3/5. And so I would say 3/5 is about right here. And if I extend that all the way, that's going to be 1, 2 places. And so we would just need to write a statement explaining that. So we would say the average rate of change of f over the interval from -1 to 4 is 3/5. And then f prime of x, which is the instantaneous rate of change of f at x equals 3/5 for 2 values of x on the interval from -1 to 4. Right, and then that'll get you another point. Okay, the next question asks you to find the equation of a tangent line. If they don't have a tangent line equation on this AP exam, I would be completely shocked because that is a big thing that we obviously have learned this year. So to find this tangent line, we need two things. We need the point of tangency, and we need the slope of the tangent. All right, now this, we know the x part of the point is 1. And then to find the y part, we're going to go to the f function. If we go to where x is 1, the value of the function is 2. All right, to find the slope of, I'm going to write that a little differently since we have two functions here. We'll say f of 1 is 2. All right, then to find the slope of the tangent, we're going to do f prime of 1. So we go to where x is 1 on f prime, and we get that the value of f prime is -2. All right, and then our tangent line, we're going to use the point slope formula. So y minus 2 is equal to -2 times x minus 1. And then you're going to stop. Unless they tell you to write your answer in a certain form, that is where you're going to stop. Do not move past that. All right, let's look at C. So this is like that one of the ones we did at the beginning for response 1, where these are the derivative in the skies. And so because they're asking us for two different ones, I think they won't expect you to do quite as much writing. But you can always do it just to make sure. But these questions were put out by the AP board, and so I know that they would accept what we're given here. All right, so the limit as x approaches 2 of f of x minus f of 2 over x minus 2 really it just means f prime of 2. And if we want to find f prime of 2, we go to the graph of f prime. We find the point 2, and we see what it equals, which is 1. So if you recognize that, it is that easy to get that question right. But you do have to recognize it. All right, the other one is a little different. I'll go ahead and write it out. All right, so again, that just means f prime of 3. So if we go to the graph, when x is 3, the graph does not have a value. There's 2 open circles there, which means there's no value. If we look back at the graph of f, we have a sharp turn there, which means the function is not differentiable. So that's what we're going to use for our explanation. So we would say the limit as x approaches 3 of f of x minus f of 3 over x minus 3 does not exist because f is not differentiable at x equals 3. Okay. Then if we look at D, it is another product rule problem. One of our functions this time is e to the x, which makes it really easy to do because e to the x is its own derivative. So I'm going to leave e to the x alone. I'm going to multiply that by the derivative of f. Then I'm going to leave f alone and multiply that by the derivative of e to the x, which is e to the x. That's g prime of x, by the way. All right, and then g prime of 0, we'll just fill in all those zeros. All right, so that's going to be 1. F prime of 0, we go to the f prime function. We find where 0 is. That is going to be 1. F of 0, we go to the f function. Find where 0 is. That's going to be 3. And e to the 0 is 1.